The Soul's Advice podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land in which this podcast is recorded, the Confederated Tribes of Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Siuslaw, and pays respect to elders past, present, and emerging. Hello, welcome to the Soul's Advice podcast, a place where you are seen and heard on a soul level. I'm Kristen Nilsson, and I will be your guide. Through channeled teachings, spiritual wisdom, and practical advice, you'll strengthen your connection to your soul's essence while remembering that you are here not to fulfill a human agenda, but a cosmic one. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Soul's Advice podcast. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about the house of grief. And grief has come through a million and one ways within client sessions and my own meditations based on what we're all going through. So there's several different scenes and messages that I wanted to share with you today. And the first one is, or was, a large 10 plus bedroom home that I was shown in a client session. And this client had just gone through the grief of a parent, losing a parent, as well as the process of grief from losing her best friend. So there was a lot of heaviness within the session. And so the idea of this 10 plus bedroom home is that behind every door to each room was the person or animal that we're grieving, a different version of ourselves, or relationships that we're attempting to move on from and kind of grieving that, and being able to go through each room in that house and open the door, regardless if it was painful or not, and opening each door as your reminder of this grief. And in the session, I was experiencing something called trekking, which is when I physically feel what the client is feeling. And so I was overcome with this sense of grief and tightness in my chest and just this overall feeling of anxiety during the session as I was being shown these rooms of the house. And what I kept hearing was, we must allow ourselves to open these doors and to feel the intense pain or the emotions or memories, regardless if they take our breath away or are really painful for us to endure again. You know, we go through and open each door and we see that, there was a scenario or a scene when we were a teenager and getting bullied or going through loss, or a door that had us as a child going through our parents' divorce and the sadness that came with that, or our family dog that passed away behind another door. I was shown all these things from my client's life. And the point was that it's okay to be overcome with that sadness, regret, or anger. I was reminded that this is why we're here, to experience these emotions and to also have felt the highest vibration of love. And grief is something that we feel when we've loved so deeply. And if you can think about it from that lens, it might take the edge off a little bit, maybe, if we're lucky one day. And so my guides often talk in lullaby, singy song ways. And a message that I had heard and remembered to write down after this session was, however, dear one, you must not keep these feelings locked inside of these rooms. Open the door, invite them all in to gather together, to honor and acknowledge how they shaped who you have become in this life and how they helped your soul to evolve. And I just thought that was such a beautiful way to approach grief. It's not compartmentalizing. It's not pushing it down so we don't feel the pain. It's inviting all of the reasons that we're grieving or the reasons that we're sad into the same room together so we can acknowledge them. We can learn something from them. We can remember those that we've lost that still to this day might break our hearts, but they can all come together and coexist as one in order for our soul growth and evolvement. So the idea that we store all these things in our house, which in the dream world, our house is our self. It's a direct reflection of ourself. So it's a very common place to have dreams. So I'm sure if you've had one out there. It's because you're being asked to look at yourself and in that situation. And so a couple of other things that I've heard and seen in terms of grief are around our soul contracts, which I know we talked about in the last episode. It's a very common theme that comes up within my sessions. And so other words of guidance that I've channeled through in terms of soul contracts is, a natural human reaction to dealing with a loved one who is dying or coming close to their transition point is to want to hang on so tightly to that person, the memories you had, the hope that you had for how your life might be with them moving forward. And, we're always in those moments feeling devastated or scared or can't comprehend the thought of being without them. And our guides just want us to know that there is this beautiful, strong, unbreakable beam of green light connecting their soul's heart to your own. So just take a moment and think about that, and maybe put your hand on your heart if you're in a good place to do it. Imagine that there is this unbreakable light beam of green light connecting your heart center to that person or animal's heart center that you're grieving. That is this unbreakable bond. And my guide said that this bond doesn't fade when those animals or people leave their physical bodies. It only gets stronger. They've completed their soul contract for this life, and this is a blessing, dear one, they said, a homecoming for them. They get to return to eternal bliss and unconditional love. They return to the place where they feel the most at home. The connection does not end here. The human barriers are just removed. And you can connect to the core of their soul now that they are released from the constraints of being a human. It's silly and incorrect to think that you could have changed the course of someone else's life or soul contract, I've been told. You were a part of their life for a reason, a predetermined reason. That was part of your own plan. But their plan was their plan. Therefore, we're always being asked to not sit in the feelings of regret or guilt. We're merely a supporting actor in their play. An important one, of course, nonetheless, but it was their play that was being performed. And all of those reminders in going through this work and being on my spiritual path have really helped me to view death and grief in such a different way. Obviously, I feel intense sadness and emotions around all of the people and animals that I've lost. And I could cry just thinking about it right now. But that is my humanness that feels that. On a soul level, I know that we'll be connected again and in another life, but that we have this unbreakable, beautiful light beam, heart energy, heart chakra energy bonds that can never be broken. And that gives me so much comfort. And when I think about how everyone has their own plan and I'm just merely a supporting cast member in their plan and their play, that almost takes the pressure off of feeling like I didn't do enough, or I should have spent more time with them, or I could have made this decision in order to be able to prolong their life. Like none of that is how spirit and how that person's soul wants you to remember that situation. They had their plan, and that was part of their plan. It might not have fit what your human needs wanted or needed in that moment. It might have really created a hole in your human heart, but it was actually growing a stronger bond between your soul's hearts. And I find immense, immense comfort in that. And I hope you do too. Grief. It is not linear. Other messages I've received around it are it's okay to let yourself go through the waves of emotions with grief. I've seen ocean waves come crashing in so violently where they're making these loud thunder-like noises. And I have that, clairaudience skill, so I can hear that sometimes. And I can see the waves just coming crashing in at the height of somebody's grief process. But I've also seen calm rivers and calm streams and the water being so still and clear when someone has been able to move through their grief. And so it's never a linear path. We can never or should never have expectations of how we navigate our grief, because everyone handles it differently and there's no right or wrong. And that's all about our human experience. So if you're grieving someone or going through a situation that is really difficult right now, I'm sending so much love to you. I completely understand how hard that can be and how it can feel so hopeless. But I hope that some of these teachings will resonate with you to help you understand that you're supported always, you're connected always, and that it was part of their plan and you have something to look forward to. Just because their physical body isn't here, you have something to look forward to from a soul level, a deeper, even more profound and beautiful level. And I can sleep easy at night thinking that. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time, and take good care.